So, Dave, thanks very much for joining me today. It's great to have you on. And what I want to do is talk a bit about Birmingham Approved Driving Instructors, a bit about you, and where you see the industry going. So, why don't you get started by telling us a bit about yourself and how you came into this position?
Well, welcome, Michael. My name's David. Obviously, my second name's Alan as well. I'm not related to the Irish community in any shape or form or something like that because it's been mentioned before. Yeah, I've been an ADI for about, how many years now? It's going to be 19 years. I qualified with British School of Motoring at the time. Okay, did one of their part-time franchises. Then I moved on to the AA. Then I moved on to a local school and actually started working for myself. But during that period as well, I also got into fleet training, fleet driver training, working for different training providers. I've run also my own driving school, A-grade driving school as well. Okay, I run that as well. And also I do classroom-based courses as well. I do, the speed awareness courses. I also do driver CPC as well. And also I've recently just started to do drink driving rehabilitation training. Okay, so I started doing that. So, and I basically, I'm the deputy chair of Birmingham Approved Driving Instructors. So that's a little bit about myself. And I do actually join the job. It's very variable. I do different things. It's varied. And I just get on with people. I just like people. And that's what inspires me to actually enjoy the job as well. And I like driving as well, which helps. So, yeah.
Brilliant, excellent. If you were to pick your passion of the industry, whether that's the pupils, it's the associations, it's the other instructors, what would you say is your biggest passion?
My biggest passion is learning. I do get a kick out of teaching people, to people succeeding and gaining something and achieving something. I do really get a kick out of that. Especially, because I do lots of fleet work and stuff like that. A lot of people think, why are you still doing the learner drivers? It's because it's the actual pleasure on their face when they're successful for the test. Especially my last one in December. She was absolutely over the moon when she got through with all the stoppages that we had last year and stuff like that. So that's the main thing. And also as well, learning myself, not just teaching people, it's also learning myself. There's so much scope for things out there in the industry for people to learn new things and to better themselves. It's absolutely amazing what's out there, like client-centered learning. So I've started to just touch on NLP. Started to just touch on that. That's something I'm not 100% knowledgeable on at the moment, but I am starting to learn that, the concept of it. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff out there that you can actually learn and just constantly just improve yourself. And also as well, it's the people in the industry as well. There's some really nice people out there that want to help you to learn and stuff like that and to see. So I'm in the right company of people, because I think I've met the sort of people I enjoy spending time with. So yeah.
Brilliant. Oh, perfect. Moving on to the associations, can you give us a bit of background on Birmingham Approved Driving Instructors and how long you've been a part of it?
Yeah, right. Okay, so I did do my research a little bit earlier on to make sure I got all my facts right. Now, BADIs was formed by a gentleman called, two people actually. It was somebody called David Wilkinson and a lady called Lisa Hatwell at the time. And I think it was in 1996, they was actually looking to see if there's any associations based in the Birmingham area. And they found out there wasn't. So that was 4 years before it was actually formed. And then they had the inaugural meeting. It was in a meeting hall in actually a pub called the Selly Oak Tavern. It was called something else then. And they actually had their very first meeting on the January, Thursday, the 27th of January 2000. Okay, so they had I think a speaker from the DVSA in. Our treasurer at the moment, he was actually on the committee at the time. And they decided to form Birmingham Approved Driving Instructors. Now, it was actually, the reason why it was formed is because we wanted to have positive thinking ADIs that was actually to better themselves. That's what that was all about, to actually just get a lot of group of ADIs that wanted to better themselves, not this moaning in the test centre and all that baloney and this all the negativity and the DVSA onus of living. There's none of that. It was just, how can we actually improve ourselves? And it's a bit of a weird name. Birmingham Approved Driving Instructors then converted into the name of BADIs. I think like the baddies, but we're actually the goodies. So we're not the baddies. So it's a bit of a spin on words, but I think it achieved its effect anyway. So now how I got into the scene, I didn't join baddies until 2005, and I just got to hear about them. Started doing my research. So I actually attended one of their meetings, and that was it then. I attended quite a few of their meetings, and then I got onto the committee in 2008, and then I got to become secretary at one stage, and now I'm actually deputy chair of the actual. And we did have a bit of a bad period around about sort of the 2008 mark, where our members went down, I think, about 6 or 7 or something like that.
Wow.
We have now grown to about 26, 27 members now, and we're actually trying to recruit some more. And it's funny that we've actually got more members joined during lockdown than we have when we've operated normal. So and I think that's because people are reaching out. I think people want to be a part of an association now because they want to see helping other people and then them to be helped themselves, especially during this period at the moment where we can't teach and stuff like that. So that's basically how I got into baddies. So.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, David. That's great. No, it's good to hear. So tell me about some of the events. BADIs. I just love the name BADIs. My favorite. You win my favorite association name. But no, what sort of events do you guys hold?
Okay, what we hold now at the moment is we have predominantly Zoom meetings. Yep. We have since the first lockdown in March. The first lockdown in March, we had weekly Zoom meetings, and that was either hosted by a guest speaker from different areas of the industry, like Diane Hall, for instance. Diane Hall's been brilliant. Okay, she was one of our speakers. See, so there's a lot of people like Martin Lever as well, from Driver School Development. He come down as well, and some of the evenings I hosted myself, and it was just basically CPD, Continuous Professional Development, for people not aware of that. So that's what that basically we did. So it's predominantly Zoom meetings that we have, and the odd CPD day as well. We also have an active WhatsApp group as well, where we're constantly communicating with each other and helping sort out. Now, the WhatsApp group is used to share information between ourselves. We also share pupils on there as well, pupils we can't cover. I've had a couple of them just recently, which I couldn't cover because I don't cover the area, or I don't cover because I only do automatics now. And we actually share pupils on there as well, and helpful as well. We try to help each other out occasionally as well, whenever we can. So that's predominantly, what baddies actually offer in that respect. Is they offer Zoom meetings. I mean, they are generally mostly weekly meetings, but mainly monthly. We have a guest speaker. And just to give you an idea of some of the speakers we got this year, this week, April. Sorry, not this week, March. When I'm talking about, I'm going a bit too far. I'm thinking about starting back to work again. That's what mine is. So this Thursday we've got Andrew Love from the ADI&JC. He's going to talk about risk management on standards checks. Okay, we got him, our association. The month after, we got then someone called Simon Clark. Simon Clark manages all my social media. He can tell you how you can actually improve engagements, how you can actually get increased inquiries, stuff like that. How you can build websites. I can use Instagram, Canva, all those different platforms you can use to use advertising as well. So the month after that, we got somebody called Adrian Carter. She's what we call the face whisperer. She actually you can tell people. She teaches you how to tell people their emotions by their facial expressions. They're actually doing as well, so you can see how they're feeling. So you can actually really communicating with them a lot better, especially when they see their facial expressions, because you see what they're really thinking. Then we got Kevin and Tracy Fields from Confident Drivers. Yep. We don't know what we're going to talk about yet, but we'll discuss that one a little bit later down the line. So they do mainly the same things as like Diane Hall's does. They help people with nerves, like breathing techniques and stuff like that. And then we got Mark Ford after that as well. He's the gentleman who introduced me to business plans. So I got one of my business plans he created for me, so I'm going to help him to share his ideas with our association as well, how to create business plans for their business. Then we got Lee Brooks. He's also from the ADI&JC as well. He's going to talk about advanced driving, how you can get into that, what that entails, because he's an examiner. So, and also an ex-serving police officer as well. And then finally, our best speaker probably of the year, we've got Ian Edwards. He's going to talk about the GED matrix. So he's written his own book and stuff like that. So yeah, so we're looking forward to that one. Okay, because I find Ian's very, very engaging, very intelligent guy as well. So yeah, so we're looking forward to that one.
So that sounds like a packed year.
It is. It is. We've got. I mean, we don't have any problems attracting speakers to our association, because there's always people willing out there to actually share what they know, and it's really good. And the Zoom platform, I think it works really well, because people from all over the country, where before, if we invited to a meeting, they'd have to travel all the way down to our Edgbaston Community Centre. That's our meeting place. And then travel all the way back. So that's like a few hours and a bit of mileage. So it was financially a bit difficult for them maybe to come down all time wise. Now we have the meetings on Zoom. They can do it from their own house. Okay, so I mean, we did originally have physical meetings, but obviously that's stop with all COVID. But we don't know when we're going to go back to that. So that's why I've arranged the meetings all the way to October on Zoom. So
great. So do you think then you'll go back to kind of physical meetings?
I personally, I don't know about a restaurant membership, but I personally would like them at some stage to go back to. I mean, it was discussed amongst our committee that we was probably going to have Zoom ones every other month, and then now every month have physical meetings back, because there's no physical interaction. There's no substitute for that, is there really? Oh. So when you meet people in person and seeing them off and up, but that all depends on also obviously COVID and the R rate, etc. I suppose in retrospect. But I think a lot of our members would like to go back, and I personally would like to see them as well. But to attract the big names, Zoom is definitely the way forward for us. Okay, to attract the big people who have to travel massive distances, then obviously that would be a lot more better for them to do it on Zoom. Okay, so we're going to continue with them. I think we are going to continue with the Zoom meetings in the future. If COVID allows us to do physical meetings again, we'll have those Zoom meetings as well, I think.
Yeah, makes sense. So you've got these events, we have guest speakers in, you've got your WhatsApp group, you show your pupils. Do you do any social events?
Occasionally, unfortunately, to put the point of it, our social meetings are not very well, how can I say, attracted. Our members, and we've got to cater to people's needs, because that's what people want. They actually are interested in CPD. That's the main thing. Okay, I know there's a lot of other associations. I mean, I will mention now, Safe Staffs, and they was very, very social. They're very social with their engagements. They have Christmas parties, they have meetings, they have tours, they have all sorts of things like that. And go to the race course as well with a couple of my colleagues as well. So they're well into that. Okay, but so BADIs, we're more into the actual professional CPD side. Yeah. That's what they want. So yeah.
I mean, that's really the kind of the ethos of the association is, isn't it? It was founded with that mindset of kind of improving and learning, and that's the kind of members you're attracting. So
yeah. I mean, the main thing is when I did actually write the article once in one of the magazines. It took me. I can't remember which magazine it was actually a few years ago. But being an ADI can actually be lonely. It can be, especially if you're an independent ADI, you can actually be very isolationist as well. So you don't know any change that come out that can appear. And I mean, a perfect example, many years ago when I went to a driving test, and the pupil didn't bring their driving license, their photo card, and I think it was they allowed to take people out, okay, up until that point. But he wasn't aware of that information, that he wasn't allowed to, there wasn't going to accept anything other photo card. So they was basically turned away. So anything like that, any sort of important information within the industry, we're on to straight away. And we do have direct email contact with the ADIJC as well, with some news flashes, information, stuff like that. So we do pass that on to our members, anything that's relevant as well. And also anything to do with standards checks, I mean, stuff like that, how, they changed it recently to a 45-minute assessment and how that goes about as well. So anything with the industry, we're in contact with our members straight away. So, yeah.
That's absolutely great. How do you message your members?
How do I message our members? Well, our new secretary, because I was the secretary until we had our AGM a few weeks back, and but our new secretary now, how he does things, either sends it on WhatsApp, because we have a group WhatsApp through our BADIs members. Okay, so he sends it through that, Or also as well, he actually emails. He can email all our members as well and contact them as well. And he also has he can phone them directly as well, so he can speak to them directly whenever he needs to. Because I was their secretary, I still get quite a few phone calls off our members. I mean, a recent one was asking him about he's talking about renewing his ADI badge.
Yep.
And he says, I can't renew it yet. And I says, well, that's right, because you only can renew it with the calendar month that it's actually due to expire. So a little information like that, really, we're constantly helping each other. Okay.
And that's what I think associations should be. Like, it's like a collection of people trying to help each other, got each other's backs, and just sharing information. I really like that. Great.
Yeah.
So what do you think is the most valuable kind of CPD sessions? What would you say are like the most kind of valuable sessions instructors can attend, in your opinion?
Well, I mean, I think it's the client-centered learning. Anything to do with that, CCL,
yep.
I think is value to them. Realise that I mean, I'm a firm fan of CCL. I should probably mentioned it a few times. It's because you're not just teaching people to pass a test. And a lot of people look at their success as that, and I used to. I'm not going to be dishonest. I'm going to say that I thought my success was how many people I used to get through the driving test. And for the business, if you're running a business, it's good to get people through the test, because if you're getting through the first time round, minimum amount of lessons, they're going to tell all their friends. They're going to let them come to you. But what we've got to look at in this industry, we got to look at how people drive after they pass their test. Because with traditional like sort of preset training, core competencies, the old style is you get them to a standard like that. Okay, you get up to that standard like that. Now, what you want them to do is to do this after they pass the test. You want them to keep on going up like that, don't you? You don't want them to do this, and even worse, you don't want them to do that. And which I know, and I'm not going to be dishonest. When in the old style system, I used to see people about a month or 2 months after they passed the test to do their Pass Plus. And their driving used to do like this, used to go like that. I thought, what's going on here? So CCL. I mean, what CCL allows them to do, it allows them to self-evaluate what they're doing. So this is why instructors should learn this, to self-evaluate themselves, to self-evaluate the pupil to self-evaluate themselves, so they can constantly be self-reflective and self-critical. So if something happens, then they can actually sort of think, oh well, I should do this next time. So they just constantly go that path of improvement. So I think CPD, CCL, I think is absolutely critical.
Yeah.
Okay, as one enforcement officer in our local area says, CPD is key, and he is right. Okay, we need to constantly be aware of these new things that come out, because the old pre-sight system, I mean, great, it was great. You spot the fault, you analyse the fault, you correct the fault. You always make sure there was success and stuff like that. But what are they going to do as soon as they pass the test? They're probably just going to drive the way that they think or feel. And that's the other thing about CCL as well, the aspect of getting to those person's thoughts, what they're really thinking about things, asking them the open questions, then getting that level of rapport that you get with a pupil. This is why I love CCL, getting that where they can trust you and say anything to you. And you see what they really are thinking about. Okay, and you make them aware of it, and hopefully you can actually change those thoughts into something more constructive. Yeah. Okay, or just make them aware of any risks that they have in their personality traits. Because some people might be a bit thrill seeker, and you get to see that, and so I enjoy doing that. And so well, can you see any risk in that? And then pause. Then you get the answer out of them. Sometimes you'll give the answer, and you just consider the dialogue and the conversation. So that's the beauty of CCL. It's you don't go into those, and I know if John Sheridan was listening today, he'd love this. I love the GD matrix. Especially talking about the I levels of the GD matrix. Okay, because traditional driver training, we stay at what they call level 2, which is vehicle control skills, and the ones road processes. We got those skills to drive on the road, and we pass our test. But those like trip-related hindrances, when we're late, when we stress, when we're tired, that's not covered. Our personality, our thoughts, beliefs, and feelings, and stuff like that, how that can affect our driving, our values. So those things are not actually covered on traditional driver training, and those things have to be covered for them to be that better driver. To get better and better. Yeah. I mean, also Diane. Also, there's a lot of things she talks about. Something the chimp paradox, the part of the limbic part of the brain as well. That reacts quicker than the logic part of the brain. Okay, so but you got to be aware of that. You got to be aware that those emotions are kicking off. You think, oh well, what's going on here? Do I this part to control you, or do you want the emotional part to control you? So there's that aspect of things as well.
Yeah.
You should just being aware of it. With me, it was just an eye-opener, really. It was just being aware of that, just aware that your emotions do react quicker than your logic. But what do you want to rule? Do you want your logic to rule, or do you want your emotions and to take over and stuff like that? So it's stuff like that. But that's about triggers as well. It's called behavioural triggers or activating events. If you did cognitive behavioural coaching, that's what it is. It's those activating events, those things that make you. But it's knowing those what they are, and then you can manage them with coping strategies. That's the beauty of behavioural stuff. That sort of area of training is knowing. Is knowing what how people think really and how they feel. That's what it's basically down to, and how it can affect their driving, how it can cause risk later on. Okay,
Yep.
so yeah.
So that's so good because I'm all for like promoting that sort of side of it. So like maybe you're something we can do to promote that to other instructors as well. Like maybe a webinar or something like that would be brilliant.
Yeah. I'm a firm fan that they should make it part of the qualification process.
Mm-hmm.
They just have an element of that.
Yep.
Like an aspect of like, well, what after pass your test? If you are like sort of out with your mates, and and I remember a wonderful analogy done by Sue McCormick when she does a BTEC level 4 course. Now, if somebody goes to a party, they all have drinks and stuff like that. But one of the fight causes, so a friend wants to look after other friends. So her duty is to get those people out of that situation as soon as possible. So she drives the vehicle while drunk, and then she gets pulled over by the police. So it's those sort of things, those sort of scenarios that need to sort of be investigated, because those are the things that do ultimately cause people to crash and lose their licenses. So yeah.
I mean, like if you're able to improve like crash rates or accidents, if that decreases accidents by like 5%,
yeah,
that's worth it. If everyone does that and it decreases the rate of accidents by like 1 or 2%, it's still worth it at the end of the day. So overall, like, what do you think about the standard of driving? Do you think it right now is getting better? It's stagnating? Do you think it's getting worse?
Well, most people think it's getting worse. Most people make people aware that it's getting worse. I think it is. I think the standards are actually reducing because I think there's a lack of enforcement. For one thing, there's a lack of visual police presence on the road as well. I think there is as well, and I think people are in more of a rush. And I mean, casualty figures. I mean, the road deaths and serious injuries, they've plateaued for the last 5 years. They've gone up and down a little bit like that and like that. So I've looked at the trends. I've looked at the latest stats, and last 5 years, deaths and serious injuries have basically just bobbed a little bit down, but not really improved. So, and cars have got better. Cars actually have got safer. Roads have got engineered, but what's not changed? It's us. It's us as drivers. So yeah, I think in that answer that question, I think driving as the standard is slightly lower because I think there's more pressure on people and stuff like that. And I think like in traffic congestion, as soon as people get stuck in the traffic, it slows it all down because they want to calm it all down. But as soon as they come out, they stick the foot down and just blast away, don't they, into whatever they want. So the pressure's always there. So there's lots of stuff out there at the moment that is trying to reduce all this, but why is it not having that effect on that killed and seriously injured? Why is it not having that? That's why the driving test changed to its present format, because they wanted to spend more time in areas where there's obviously going to be more risk, like less time like doing a left reverse or a turn road in an housing estate, and spending more time like turning right at a very like a national spirit road, because that's where people unfortunately do get killed and injured and stuff like that. So that's why they changed the format test to make it a bit more, how can I say, because concentrate more on the stuff that mattered and stuff like that. So yeah, I think and then to answer your question, I think it has slightly got worse. I think he has got slightly got worse. Yeah, so.
It's a really good point, because like if I remember looking at a graph from the DVSA, and you look at like accidents from say the 1970s and then onwards, and it's like it's going down, and you're right, it's just kind of plateaued, hasn't it? It's like it stopped decreasing. So
it's just really that's the element. It's the driver element. I remember Something's in an Hermes project, a video once. It was like a folder, a binder. And it was great little, you could open up like that. And it was on the front of it, it says the most important safety device ever created for a vehicle. And people was picking up and opening up. And do you know what was inside of it? A mirror. The most important element of that vehicle, its safety and people around you as well. It's you. It's the person itself. So, yeah. So this is why, I'm all for this behaviour side of things, because that does make the impact on the eye levels of the GD matrix.
Yep. How do you think technology is impacting learning to drive?
Right. Well, I am a fan of technology.
Right, okay.
I'm a wonderful fan of it. I do use a few instructor apps done by David Fright's driving instructor software. I like his especially, and I've had it for quite a few years because you can actually do diagrams. You can actually bring things from Google Maps and diagrams and actually draw it. And they say, this is the best route if you want on a roundabout. This is the best way to go. This one, and you can move cars around and little infographics as well.
Brilliant.
You can do lesson logs in there as well. So what they've done by notes. And what I love my reflective logs. I've always really looked at my reflective logs. What went well? What didn't go well? What could you do to improve next time? So it's stuff like that. So it's that, and you can email all that to your pupils as well. Also, technology during the lockdown, and I think I've used, and a few of my colleagues as well, have used Zoom to stay in touch with their pupils.
Yep.
I deliver online theory through them, through the different apps that they've got. Okay, so I can talk them through the reason, not just give them the answer, give them the reason behind it, why the answer, why it's important. So I've done the last pupil I got for the test. We did a lot of advanced driving, even though she was, it's a learner drive. We showed her lots of advanced driving techniques that you can actually use, like ISPA, commentary driving, different things like that, limit points and stuff like that. So, and she started, in theory, she was picking up, because you can see it in her driving when we went back to normal lessons, she was picking it up, especially when had somebody close behind you. She had somebody close behind you. She says, well, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to show them my brake lights, because I'm using my information, and I'm sending the information out to them because I'm slowing down. So, take, use and give. So using a lot of advanced stuff with them, stuff like that. So I was sharing that, which is great. So and the hazard perception side of things as well, you can help them with that as well, because they can, whatever app they're using, which they bought, of course, they can share it with you, and you can actually watch them do it, and then when they click the mouse and when they should do it and stuff like that. So but it's a lot of the hazard perception, and I've just downloaded another app I can use with the practical side of things now. So I've started doing that, and I'm going to start also as well, and this is an idea I've got in my head, is the vehicle check questions. Especially obviously we can't do on the move at the moment, but the show me ones, I'm going to do it on Friday with one of my pupils. I'm going to have my Zoom obviously set up on one of my mobile devices. Okay, so, and I'm going to show him how it's done, because I've got videos. I've already created lots of videos which I can show my pupils how it's done. So I'm going to show them first, then I'm going to get them to tell me how to do it. So they're going to have to show me that. They're going to have to show me. So it proves learning. So I mean, I know it's not in the real world and they're not really there, but at least they know what it is, have an idea where it is now to operate it when they come back to the vehicle. So it just helps them along a little bit. So that's basically one of my ideas. I'm going to put this place when I see this one of my pupils on Friday. So yeah, and also as well, I mean, with technology as well, I bought one of these, we can't see it at the moment. It's a GoPro.
Oh, excellent.
It's a GoPro and stuff like that. And I've already done, when I'm obviously going up to the shops and stuff like that, I've got one of these things I stick around my head. There we go, got that. I'm not going to wear it today though. So I put it around my head. It's an head cam, and I can actually then do talk-throughs. So I've got like a series of like different topics, like how to approach a roundabout, how to turn left, how to turn right. And I've got the video there, so I can actually show my pupil at any stage. And I've been showing them on Facebook and Instagram and stuff like that. But what I plan to do when we go back to lessons is have with the permission of the pupil, of course, is have that facing inside, okay, and then to show the video back, and also for my own self-development as well, so I can watch what I'm doing. So I watched the video the other day when I was doing like a park on the right drive again. I thought, you've said something you're not supposed to see there. Okay. So like look over, and what it was to look over the right shoulder, not left shoulder, because there's parts on the right. So I said, and I did this, looked over my left shoulder when I said look over the right. So it's stuff like that you can actually play it back and think, hold on, I shouldn't have said that. I could have said that a better way, or you could look at the pupil's reaction. And things like that. And also the technology I got on my vehicles, I've got dash cams front and back. and I use the front one as a training aid. Okay, sometimes when they go around a roundabout and they get the wrong lane, for instance, okay, what I'll do, we'll pull up somewhere and I'll show them the video for just reflection.
Yeah.
To say, well, yeah, I didn't see that there. I didn't realise So you can have that discussion, so you can get rid of them, reflect themselves. So so technology. I'm all for it.
Right. So I just have a few more questions left, I guess. So what's the future for yourself? Like, where do you see your career going? Where do you see you taking your driving school, your association? Like, talk to me about what's your goals?
Okay, so for myself, I've never done instructor training. I've done very limited. I've done part 2, but not part 3. So that's my this year. It is still hopefully when we go back, we will go back to normal at some stage, hopefully in the future. But it's to get my audit to be an audit registered trainer, because that's then saying like, look, I'm a good ADI trainer. And I want to be a good trainer. I am getting some training at the moment to help me to do that, to achieve that. Okay, and I'm in the process of writing a training manual as well to deliver instructor training. That's a task and a half. That's been but I've had help. I've had a few people help me for it and stuff like that. But that'll be something that I can't do in a week. That's something going to be probably done over the space of a year. Yeah. So it's writing that training manual. Okay. So I've always promised myself I was going to do that one. So the audit is one of them. So it's been an instructor trainer, but my association is basically to grow. Is the membership to grow, and then to offer them just more and more things, because the more members we have, the more scope of things we can actually do, and to work on the social thing, because I am a social person, and I love the social aspect of the association to grow, where we can actually meet up and have friendly chats and stuff like that. So because at the moment it's all very professional, it's all CPD and stuff like that. So having that social aspect, I would like to do that, like go-kart racing and things like that. So but I did try arrange one, by the way, but there was only 2 people that was interested. So that went down. That was about a few years ago. But yeah, so that's how I want the association to basically grow. Really, is get more members. So more and more Birmingham-based ADIs can actually just embrace CPD to get better and learn new things and earn more money as well. I mean, because if you become better at your job. If you become better at your job and you start to, you get a good reputation and you produce safe drivers, not just to pass the test, but to be safe afterwards, then people will come to you, and then you can go into different things. You can go into all the different other aspects of being an ADI, because a lot of people think it's just learner drivers, but there's fleet out there. You can work for a fleet. You can work for yourself as a fleet trainer, which might be even better, because then you can source the work yourself. And there's instructor training as well. There's that out there as well, so you can get into those different things. So if you develop yourself and get better, then you can start to deliver those sort of things. Okay, so you don't just teach learners all the time. So unless learners float your boat, of course. Okay, some people enjoy it, and I still enjoy doing learners as well. I don't think there's anything wrong with teaching learners. I think you do get a lot of satisfaction by teaching learners. So yeah.
So where do you think the industry is going to be going in the next 2 years' time, and the next 2-3 years? Where is this industry going?
I think there's going to be more ADI monitoring in one shape or form.
Okay.
That's what I think there is going to be. I don't know what that will probably be. I mean, the DVSA play their cards very close to their chest. I think there's going to be more of that. Okay, I think it's the input that we have in creating the new drivers of tomorrow are absolutely critical.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's got to be some encouragement for people to better themselves in some shape or form. I mean, I don't know how the industry is going to move. Let's just wait and see what happens, to be honest with you. So, but I think that we will be monitored more personally, looked at more. Okay, so what standards of people we possibly take to driving tests, etc. That will be probably looked at. I can't see. There's no changes I can actually see on the horizon at the moment in the next couple of years. Maybe beyond that, there's going to be a lot of automated cars out there on the road. There's going to be a lot more electric vehicles out there on the road. I'm an owner of an electric vehicle myself, and I teach automatics. Well, I teach it. It's an electric car, but I teach it as automatic. So there's going to be a lot of them. So there's going to be, obviously, you've got to be more familiar with their characteristics and how they operate and stuff like that. So I have done the EV trainer course to actually do that, to make me a bit more knowledgeable about electric vehicles. So they're going to be more electric. Definitely in 2 years, there's going to be more electric vehicles there, and there's going to be more automatics. I think there's definitely more automatics, because I think they're starting to now virtually. I think they'll even kill with selling manual cars, if not more. Electric just give you so much cost benefits. It's unbelievable. Initially, to buy brand new, they're quite expensive, but the running costs to actually level themselves out. So you've got to keep them a few years, like to actually get it back. So electric vehicles is definitely a thing I can see changing in the next couple of years. The driving test, how I would like to see it change in the next couple of years, is to have a graduated licence scheme. Big fan of that. I think you should be laying in stages and bits, like that. Like sort of, you can then drive around town roads. Then you've got to pass another module to drive on like country lanes. Then you've got to pass another module to actually drive on motorways. I mean, logistically, it might be a bit of a nightmare for the DVSA, but I live in the area I live, and there's no way I can take people on country roads. There's no way I can take them, because there's not enough time to get out there. Okay, so, and I'd love, and I do take people on country lanes when I get the opportunity to, but because the scope of the area and people only probably an hour lesson or something like that with other instructors, they probably don't have the scope to go on those country lanes. I know, and I know that fatalities, about the region of about 60% of fatalities occur on country lanes. So that's an aspect that's been missed. That's a missed aspect. So that's why I look to see this graduation lesson scheme with country lane driving as a module, okay, and some sort of theory module with like driving at night, with your friends in the car, going to such and such, okay, because that's where the risk's going to be when they're getting distracted and things like that. So I'd love to see things like that brought out, okay, so those things that are going to make an impact on people's lives. So yeah,
that's really good. Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. I've got one more question, but before I kind of go into that, is there anything else you want to kind of highlight, or you want me to ask to kind of promote, or anything like anything you want me to go in more detail about BADIs or anything like that I haven't covered that you thought I would?
No, just the cost of membership is £30 for the whole year. That entitles into our WhatsApp group and all our Zoom meetings, and also the ability to communicate with our committee. I mean, I'm just a cog of BADIs. I'm not, the single most important entity of that association. We have other committee members on there as well. We've got Lee Harris, which is our chairman. He's been a great support over the years, so thanks to him, our association still runs. We've got our treasurer as well, James Quinn. Okay, he's been since the year dot. He's been a member of that, so he's always been a good support. I was speaking to him earlier on, actually. So he's been on the financial side of things and the technical side of things as well, like websites, and he's going to create an ad for our promotion to get more members in, and obviously then Faisal, who got awarded actual BADIs Member of the Year. The year before last. Okay, so because of his contribution to our association, he got us a new venue to work from. He got us more members in. He's just been and he's been brilliant. He's been absolutely fantastic. So he's going to. I'm sure he's going to do a perfect job of being secretary. And then we got our committee members as well. Got Tariq Hussain as well. He joined our committee as well. He's got a lot to give. He's got a lot of knowledge in the industry. I can tell that by a lot of the communication I've had with him as well. And we got somebody called Jill Wilson as well. It's a bit funny. She lives in Staffordshire, but we poached her. So she's on our committee now. So sorry about that, Chris. If you're watching this at the moment, we need one of your sort of members to be our committee on our association. So, and she's got a wealth of knowledge. She knows lots of people as well. Lots of people. She was deputy chair at Safe Staffs for about 11 years. So she's got a very good knowledge industry. So it's those people as well that help to run our association. I'm not, it's those guys that are helping each other as well to run our association. So that's the thing I do want you to mention. Is those it's not just me, it's them as well. All right. Okay.
I'll definitely make sure that's in. Thanks. So final question: what's your biggest piece of advice for ADIs and PDIs at this moment in time?
Biggest piece of advice is. This is gonna finish. This COVID stopping us doing lessons will finish eventually. We will be back to doing lessons eventually. Just hold in there, and I know some people in different situations than others financially. hopefully they've found alternative employment or funds or grants and stuff like that. Keep on using your national associations. Don't, I was watching some chatter a post the other day about which is the best association to join. Me, it's the ADI&JC. I'm biased, so sorry it's about the other national association. Okay, but there was a lot of posts that said that there wasn't, what worth paying for. That the national associations are actually doing a damn good job. They will help you as much as they can. They can't do miracles, they are unpaid volunteers. Use your national associations, trying to get them to help. But at the end of the day, it's you that must do that thing yourself. Okay, don't expect them to do it for you. You've got to do things yourself. So just stay in there. We will be back to normal at some stage in the future. Okay, but just stay patient. Just stay patient, and just do as much CPD as you can before you go back to it. To get as much development and knowledge. I know there's no substitute to doing the real thing, but at least you can be a bit more knowledgeable in what you're doing. If you have got a family member, then obviously who's learning to drive, who wants to learn to drive, you can actually practice on them, can't you? As long as you can take them to the supermarket, of course. Central journey, as long as you can do that. So yeah, practice as much as you can, or just I suppose you could practice on Zoom, I suppose, in some shape or form. So okay, so yeah, that's what advice I'd give them. Just stay in there.
Thanks very much, Dave. It's been great chatting to you. If anyone wants to join BADIs, their link is on this article below. So go there and you can get in contact, and we'll add the email address so that you could reach out and potentially join. So thanks for your time, and hopefully speak to you again really soon.
Thank you. Cheers.